Welcome back!
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I want to talk about a brand new series from HBO Max, a spin-off of the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker. But before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, like and share this video in order to help the channel out.
Previously in the Suicide Squad. There's peace with all my heart.
Peacemaker.
So Peacemaker is finally out, and I finally got around to watching the first episode. So Peacemaker is the character from the Suicide Squad, not to be confused with Suicide Squad. Peacemaker was one of the most memorable characters, in my opinion, as far as I can recall from the Suicide Squad. Outside of my personal favorites, Weasel, TDK, the Detachable Kid, Ratcatcher, the Shark King, the Polka Dot Man, and Bloodsport. Not that I didn't like all the other characters, I did, but these were the few that stood out to me. And also, James Gunn made Harley Quinn a more likable character than she was on Birds of Prey. So the show starts with Peacemaker in the hospital about to get discharged after what happened to Jotanan Kota Maltese, and he's puzzled about this discovery since he should be going back to prison since he still has time to serve. So he doesn't believe this, and he goes fishing for information. So he asks his weed buddy Jamil if he's heard anything about the cops looking for him. So he tells Jamil who he is, and Jamil thinks he is a racist superhero who only kills minorities and doesn't really kill white people. He actually has a great response for this.
Somebody's committing a crime.
Yes.
Am I supposed to control what their ethnicity is?
No, but you...
And also pledges to improve his ratio.
Point. I will trust white people less in the future and kill a higher percentage of them.
So he leaves and heads home only to learn that he is not really free and Amanda Waller can still track him. And if he doesn't do what they want him to do, they can either send him to prison or blow his head, since they can still track him. But he can remain free if he helps them kill a group of people called butterflies. Let's begin with the introduction of the team. I'd like to start with Leora Adebayo, since we already introduced to her and her wife in a scene before this. So she's definitely the fish out of water character, since she doesn't really have the required experience as far as I can tell. And she is here mostly due to Amanda Waller's references. I was surprised to also learn that she was the daughter of Amanda Waller. This secret is kept from the others. Additionally, she has a secret mission that the others are unaware of, and she's spying on everyone for Amanda Waller. She is the other main character after Peacemaker, since we were actually given an introduction to Leota before everyone else, I think. In the group, we also have Harcourt, who is pretty much the normal one. We will learn more about her as the season progresses, but she seems to be the most reasonable member of the crew. Then there's Johnny Economos, who was also in the Suicide Squad when that other lady who whacked Amanda Waller on the head. He was the tech guy, and he's still the tech guy. He is the Cisco or Felicity of this show. Oh, then we have a new character, Clemson Munn, who seems to be the leader of this band of misfits, and don't really know anything else about him, except for that he's a bad man, and he was an assassin who wasn't always working for the right side. Hopefully we do get to know more about him as the season progresses also. Peacemaker is a sidekick that is conveniently named Eagly, which is weird but okay. So this character is the equivalent of Rocket the Raccoon or the rat from Suicide Squad. Don't remember its name, but so as Peacemaker goes to collect his pet eagle, who he left with his father, we get to meet Peacemaker's father, who is just a terrible person. He is old school, ignorant, racist, sexist, homophobic, and he's a deadbeat father too. This is the first we get to know more about why Peacemaker is the way he is. So his father is the person that makes Peacemaker's equipment, mostly his suit and his helmet, and all the other toys that he does. So basically he gives Peacemaker all these tools to try and make America great again.
I didn't make these things while you were in prison. These are all from before.
The interaction is just very weird, but it is apparent that Peacemaker wants his father's validation and wants to make him proud, but his father just doesn't really like him at all and thinks he's a simp.
Giving you any helmet? As big a simp as you turned out to be.
I guess he just tolerates him because he is his father after all. The scene where Peacemaker tries to make his father laugh by telling him about Bloodsport's phobia of rats is absolutely golden, since it kind of shows how they bond about the most morbid and terrible and horrible stuff, and they are all having a laugh until Peace Father learns that it was the same guy that shot him in the neck, and the jokes kind of end there.
I had my fucking sperm.
Well, Peacemaker leaves and it's time for him to meet with the other crew, and he's the only one that came to what should be an off-the-books operation in full gear.
This is a uniform, and it's...
They sit and he ignorantly says some sexist stuff.
Hey, Sweet Cheeks, can you take my order real quick?
Hi, sure thing.
And makes fun of Johnny Economou's two-tone beard.
Right now, Diebeard? Okay.
Among other things that he said.
Technically, I think you may have sugar tits too, but somehow that also feels inappropriate.
All right, Peacemaker.
And there's this other weird guy looking at Peacemaker like he just simped for him or something, which is kind of weird. So, Clemson Munn gives Peacemaker the files of all the butterflies that he has to kill, and then they leave. Yoda runs into him outside and wants to pet Eagly, so he asks Peacemaker if Eagly is friendly, and he says yes, and apparently he's only friendly to him and not everyone else, which is to be expected since they besties. So after that exchange, they of course say their goodbyes. Then
Well, good night, Smith.
Night, Arbor Small.
Peacemaker and Eagly have a great jam session in the car, couple karaoke style. Then he spots Harcourt going into a bar, and of course he follows her and tries to play it off like it's coincidental, but she saw him and lets him know that she saw him coming.
To driving by and then making a U-turn to follow me.
And he lets her know what he wants.
Woman in a long time. No connection here. I'm just asking for fun. Genital to genital contact. No touching above here.
And don't laugh, like, and don't judge. I also want to, like, get, inside you, like, do the deed.
Yeah, okay. I'm not really a guy that's into shipping in most shows, but this is a ship I'd want to see. Because currently it seems like the interest is one-sided, but I think over time this will develop into a nice, great connection. He gets rejected and has to find a rebound. So he spots another girl in the bar who looks like a character from regular show. So they go back to her apartment, and after that he expresses just how much he needed it. and how much he appreciates the moment. And then she tries to cut him and they fight. Now, I have seen this fight a few more times for the first time I watched it, and I can't help but think that maybe the only thing it lacks is commentary from Michael Cole. And this woman reminds me of Cheetah from Wonder Woman 1984. During the fight, he realizes just how much out of depth he was and decides to make an honorable decision he could make, which is to cut and run. Now, there's no shame in running. So he jumps out of her apartment and she follows. And long story short, he blows her up with his helmet using sonic boom. And just another thing from the WWE, this is how most of John Cena's matches usually occur. He gets dominated throughout the whole match and has one moment and he takes it and wins. And this is how the episodes end. Episode 2 picks up where we left off, and the cops are on the way and Peacemaker has to get out of there before the police arrest him. So he calls Harcourt to inform her that he had a run-in with a member of the Butterflies. Harcourt and Leota go to pick him up. The rest of the team attempts to remove evidence that Peacemaker was ever there in the first place. So Johnny Connors decides to make a bonehead move by pinning everything on Peacemaker's father, the White Dragon. So Peacemaker is back at Cheetah's apartment, collecting the files of every butterfly he has to kill. Apparently he took those with him, cause he couldn't leave them in the car unguarded. But Eagly was there, so he could have guarded the files. And helps himself to some of Cheetah's music CDs, among other things, and finds an alien-looking MacGuffin. So he takes that too, which kind of reminds me of Kid Flash from Young Justice, since he always used to collect souvenirs on every mission that he went to.
Cool. Souvenir.
The cops spot him and they know where he is, so the only way to go is up. And he goes there and hides in an apartment with this other dysfunctional couple. The lady seems to have a thing for Peacemaker because they seem to have a lot of things in common, and he treats her nicer than her current boyfriend. He escapes before the police get there. Well, this is a scene which basically explains why Jamil didn't believe that Peacemaker could be a superhero, since he's not really as agile as most superheroes, mostly stiff and buff.
Yeah.
You're kind of bulky to be a superhero, aren't you?
Fucking bulky.
Most superheroes have a gymnast body.
So, yeah. Now, long story short, he makes it down. The police shoot at him, and he makes it to the car, and Leota drives off. So the cops follow the evidence that Johnny Connors left for them and goes to August Smith's house to question him about his whereabouts last night. And he minds being questioned by Detective Song since she's Asian. But she questions him anyway, and he chases them away, and she tries to insult him back and fails. Back at the team headquarters, Leota is very excited about being at her first shootout, or being shot at for the first time, and Johnny Connors has never been there, so he kind of seems very jealous.
You haven't been shot at?
No.
So the big question is, why did Cheetah try to kill Peacemaker? And fingers are being pointed at people. There's a lot of distrust on the team, but it was Peacemaker all along. So Leota has to deal with the couple that I witnessed to all of this, and they can point Peacemaker since they know what he looks like. So she has to go bribe them. Peacemaker is a moment of self-reflection, which is very emotional. Then we get to meet Vigilante, another one of Peacemaker's sidekick. So he gets there and they make jokes about Louis C.K. showing his dick to everyone and have some fun. Leota gets to the couple before they go to the police to identify Peacemaker, and he bribes them and tells them to point at Peacemaker's father. Back at Peacemaker's cabin, Peacemaker tells Vigilante how he got out of prison and how he works for the government now. It is during this time that Vigilante realizes that Peacemaker has a lot of self-doubt. So he gives him a pep talk. Vigilante tries to reassure Peacemaker that what they do is in service of the world and peace, since they only kill bad people and he likes it, so Peacemaker should too. Then after this, they go out to celebrate Peacemaker being free, and during this moment, August Smith, Peacemaker's father, gets arrested for his father's crimes, while Peacemaker doesn't know that his father has been arrested. After he gets delivered to prison, he is worshipped by the other prisoners who share the same beliefs as him, scaring Detective Song in the process. And also the MacGuffin that Peacemaker took turns into a small spaceship. Episode 3 starts with the team about to go on an adventure to assassinate another person from the Project Butterfly dossier, and Vigilante spying on them from behind a trash can, looking out for his best buddy Peacemaker. The butterfly they have to kill is Senator Royland Goff. Goff is traveling with his family and they might be all butterflies, so Peacemaker might have to kill all of them, and he seems very hesitant since he doesn't have the full information on who the butterflies are and why they deserve to die.
Brother told me there's 2 types of babies. One that comes out of a woman's vagina, normal, and then butt babies. You know, I believed I was a butt baby until I was like 14.
Yeah, interesting. I really don't know what to say about. He's an idiot.
Don't say that. Why say that?
Senator Goff has bodyguards, one being Judo Master, and Peacemaker is an LGBTQI+ ally, and his porn folder can prove it.
Is scissoring real? I keep getting contradictory reports.
I suspected you were a butt baby from the beginning.
The haircut doesn't make you an ally.
Didn't see my porn folder, 400 gigs of alliance.
So as the Goff family gets there, Peacemaker's trying to get a clean shot of the senator, and he can't seem to get a good shot of the senator since there's always seems to be someone covering the senator. So they have to wait until they can get a clean shot. So during this time, they actually spot that the family has different mannerism inside the house when no one is there compared to when people are there, which basically seems to point at that they might be the butterflies, but they still have to make sure. Since Peacemaker seems very hesitant since he doesn't know why he has to kill the butterflies, Man reassures him by letting him know that he's not Amanda Waller and everyone that has to die today is a very dangerous person. He doesn't just kill innocent people, which absolutely shocks Leota since she doesn't really know Amanda Waller that well, and of course she's a mother, and they can only speak this way since they don't really know that Leota is Amanda Waller's daughter and she's definitely spying on them. So as they wait for a clean shot, Harcourt and Peacemaker share some trail mix and keep each other hydrated, and they also get to know each other more personally. Then Vigilante shows up and he followed them with his Vigilante mobile. Since they're on a mission, they can't let Vigilante go since he might just fuck up the mission. So the whole family is there and there's a clean shot now, but Peacemaker's getting cold feet, so Vigilante has to take the shot. And the man is a maniac. He takes all of them out with no remorse while humming, but does not get a chance to shoot Senator Goff cause Judo Master gets to them and beats the shit out of all of them. After that, he takes Vigilante and Peacemaker as prisoners to question them. Leota also gets cold feet from shooting the other bodyguards since she has never killed anyone before, and Harcourt has to kill him herself since this is an off-the-books operation, so everyone who sees them has to die. Harcourt and Mann have to go save Peacemaker and Vigilante. Vigilante gets tortured, and it does seem that if he knew anything about this operation, he would have snitched, but he doesn't know anything, so thank God. Peacemaker lets Goff know that even if he tortures Vigilante in like the worst way possible, he's not going to snitch, which actually hurts Vigilante, which is very visible in his eyes that he's kind of disappointed that Peacemaker will let him get tortured like this, since he thought they were friends. So as the others attempt to get to where Peacemaker and Vigilante are, they blow up the door, and the explosion sets Peacemaker loose and he blows Goff's head off. John Economos also has to try and stop Judo Master from going to report what happened. So he crashes his truck into Vigilante's car and knocks him out by hitting him multiple times on the head with a gun. After Peacemaker blew off the head of Senator Goff, he finally sees what they meant by Project Butterfly, since a butterfly-looking alien escapes from his face. So this also reminds me of Young Justice Invasion, where the Qualotarians invaded the Earth by pretending to be humans. If my memory serves me right, I think they worked for the rich, I believe, and that's how episode 3 ends.
Holy shit, look at that! It's a funny smiley man.
Now let's talk about Vigilante. He's a character that idolizes Peacemaker and mostly exists to create a comparison to who Peacemaker used to be compared to what he is now. Since he basically represents who Peacemaker used to be, but Peacemaker is very different now. After what happened at Coto Maltese and after realizing how people actually see him and feel about him, he is on a journey of self-discovery by mostly questioning his morals. And Vigilante is kind of the enemy of progress in a way, since he basically wants the old Peacemaker and doesn't really seem to want change. And he actually believes that what they used to do is actually the right thing to do. And Peacemaker is not really on that same level as Vigilante anymore and actually wants something different. Vigilante is a character which I can actually draw a lot of comparison from with let's say Deadpool, but without the heart. I think Deadpool he's a killer, but he's a way nicer person than Vigilante is. And they also seem to have quite good jokes. So Peacemaker got a show before most characters on the Suicide Squad because John Cena has a talent for taking an unlikable character such as Peacemaker and making him very likable. During most of the first episode, Peacemaker is completely unaware of the terrible things he does or says. He lacks self-awareness throughout the episode. In spite of the fact that he acts horrible, he still thinks of himself as a moral person. This is something James Gunn effectively portrays of the character in most of the episodes that I've seen. Besides showing another side of Peacemaker that we didn't see in the Suicide Squad, it shows that he is a very human character and has remorse for everything that he does, like killing with Flag. He also realizes that he might not be the hero he believes he is and that everyone might hate him. His past actions, although terrible, were mostly motivated by trying to make the world a better place and trying to achieve peace in any way possible, which in some ways can be considered righteous. And during this process, he was also unaware that he was becoming the bad people that he was trying to stop. His behavior definitely makes sense when you get to meet his father, August Smith, aka the White Dragon. Since we can definitely tell that he is a very, very bad person and he doesn't really have any redeeming factors like Peacemaker does. Oh, and also, fun fact, both Robert Patrick and John Cena were both in the WWE production film The Marine. So I just had to mention that. So going back to the character of Peacemaker, it's kind of a miracle that he is not worse than he is now because of his father. The fact that he escaped with some sense of humanity or knowing what right and wrong is actually a miracle. This also explained why he has a skewed sense of morality, since his father is absolutely evil and he might not really know what's right or wrong. So after all the episodes I've watched, I think Peacemaker is easily one of the best DC live action series that I've watched. Well, it didn't really have that much of a competition from The Flash and most of the series from the Arrowverse, but I actually hear that Lois and Clark is good. I haven't really given it a chance yet since I absolutely gave up on the Arrowverse series after the crisis where Arrow died, the Green Arrow died. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video, which will be really helpful. Thank you for staying this long. This was great, and I will be uploading weekly from now on, so stay tuned for more film, series, and anime related content. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.